Hey guys, this is Jose and today we're going to take a quick look at the Nexus 4. The Nexus 4 is probably the most important phone for the Android platform in years. A high-end phone at a mid-level price that for the first time in the Nexus line has specs on par or even better than its competition. Design-wise, it's composed of two glass layers, back and front, with rubbery plastic along the sides, which translates into a very solid feeling device. The front is completely black and features no buttons, but hides a notification RGB LED on the bottom that can be customized using several apps. The backside is also black, but shows a shiny dot pattern when light hits it at the right angle. It's mostly subtle, but not everyone will like it. The biggest problem with the design is the speaker placement that sits flat against the back, which means it can be easily blocked when the phone is set down on a table. Fortunately, it's pretty loud and I've had no problems hearing it so far. The screen is a 4.7-inch IPS panel with a 1280 by 768 resolution, somewhat wider than the usual 720p screens found on high-end phones today. Color reproduction is pretty good, yet a bit muted when compared to the iPhone 5 screen. Whites are, on the other hand, more neutral than on the iPhone. Pixel density is fantastic, and long gone is a horrible Pentile Super AMOLED display from Samsung. But the main event is the operating system. The Nexus 4 is the first to ship with Android 4.2, a minor update that includes some of the best changes to the OS yet. Starting with a new lock screen that is now more intuitive and now includes widgets on the left side and a camera shortcut on the right. The camera UI has been improved and now has a touch-based shortcut to the settings. The only problem with this system is that some options can be easily obscured with our finger. It is, however, a lot faster than before. There is also an HDR mode for high contrast situations. As for the camera itself, the Nexus 4 has a backside illuminated Sony sensor that might sound great, but is in fact pretty low end. Photos are perfectly fine in well-lit situations and zoomed out. But if we zoom in, it's easy to see how the very aggressive noise reduction eats away a lot of the details. Compared to the iPhone 5 camera, color and white balance are close, although pictures on the Nexus 4 tend to have a green cast in the shadows. The biggest problem for the camera are low light pictures, where it struggles to focus and the photos come out soft and dim. Still, it's leaps and bounds better than the camera on previous Nexus phones, and most users will have no problems with it. Google has also introduced a spherical panorama mode that is pretty cool to play with, but has trouble merging photos. The best thing about this feature is being able to turn them into tiny planets. Moving on, notifications, which were already one of Android's strongest features, have been improved even more. If apps allow it, we can answer messages from the notification itself, or we can just slide them away to get rid of them. We can also delete all of them in one tap. Also new is a quick settings screen which can be toggled through the button on the top right or accessed by sliding down with two fingers. Another great new feature is the gesture keyboard, which allows us to quickly type by sliding our finger through letters. This definitely helps when trying to type with one hand on a phone that for many might be too big. Apart from the new features, it's easy to tell Google has spent time optimizing the system for smoothness. Switching between apps is even faster than on iOS, and other than a couple of crappy apps, scroll is smooth and everything reacts quickly. Android is finally achieving the maturity many have asked for, and is easily the OS that improves the most each year. This doesn't mean everything is perfect. Android still shows many inconsistencies, and there's a huge number of badly designed apps on the store that give a bad reputation to the system. Things like completely changing the lock screen 6 months after the previous update, for example, can cause confusion among mainstream users and gives off the impression that Google is still struggling to unify all aspects of the design. However, Android also has details that prove Google is really trying to create a great product. Things like Google Now, which is a great way of getting information you need when you need it, or the fact that the Nexus 4 screen is slightly curved at the sides, making it extremely nice to the touch, which makes me want to pick it up constantly. As for battery life, it is on par with the iPhone 5, at least with my usage pattern. This means it should last the day for most people, as long as you don't use it too much. It also supports wireless charging, although Google has not released the charging base yet. In conclusion, the Nexus 4 is the best Android phone you can buy today, not for its technical specs, which are quite good by themselves, but because it offers a real complete experience that Google wants for its users. It will also be the first to receive new updates, which helps make it a great buy. The only complaints I have are the camera, which could be better, and the size, that while not huge, is slightly bigger than I'd like. None of those would stop me from recommending the Nexus 4 to anyone looking to enter the Android ecosystem at a very reasonable price.